The death of King Henry VI in 1471 marked one of the most enigmatic and transformative moments in England's tumultuous Wars of the Roses. Crowned as an infant in 1422 after the death of his heroic father, Henry V, his entire reign was a study in contrasts, a gentle, pious monarch caught in the crossfire of dynastic ambition, mental instability, and political upheaval. His reign, punctuated by periods of minority, intermittent restorations, and contested rule, created a dramatic backdrop against which his eventual demise would serve both as an end and a new beginning in the bitter struggle between Lancaster and York. By the mid-15th century, the Lancastrian regime under Henry VI was seen as increasingly ineffective. The king's inability to govern a nation divided along familial lines, combined with episodes of mental breakdown and erratic behavior, eroded confidence in his rule. His prolonged minority and subsequent incapacity allowed his nobles to maneuver for power, setting the stage for open conflict. The Lancastrian symbol had become as much an emblem of lost potential as it was a rallying cry for those who hoped to restore order to a kingdom torn apart by warfare. The re-adeption period, when Henry VI was briefly restored to power in 1470, underscored the vacillating loyalties of the time, but his restoration was doomed by the overwhelming momentum of the Yorkist faction. The final chapter of his life unfolded while he was confined in the Tower of London. On the night of 21 to 22 May 1471, the beleaguered king met his mysterious end in the very heart of the state's power centre. Contemporary chronicles provide a mosaic of conflicting accounts regarding his death. One narrative, recorded in sources like Warkworth's Chronicle, asserts that Henry VI was put to death between the hours of 11 and 12, a claim that quickly fanned the flames of suspicion that his demise was not natural or accidental but the result of a deliberate act of political violence. Other accounts, such as those detailed in Fabian's Chronicle and by the Burgundian diplomat Philippe de Comines, suggested that the hand of a prominent Yorkist, later identified in popular lore as Richard of Gloucester, who would become Richard III, or his associates had been involved. Although later historians have not found conclusive evidence linking Richard directly to the act, such allegations have embedded Henry's death within the broader narrative of a savagely partisan era. The implications of his death were both immediate and far-reaching. With the extinguishing of the Lancastrian hope in a peaceful resolution, the Yorkist regime under Edward IV consolidated its hold on power, effectively signalling the end of one of England's most destabilized royal lineages. In death, Henry VI became a martyr-like figure, portrayed by contemporaries and later chroniclers as a tragic, weak king undone by forces much larger than himself. His passing not only closed a turbulent chapter of English history but also set the stage for the myths, legends, and controversies that would continue to swirl around his legacy for centuries to come. For those fascinated by medieval history and the intricacies of dynastic warfare, Henry VI's death serves as a powerful illustration of how personal frailty and political ambition can conspire to reshape an entire nation. The competing narratives of his final hours provide historians with a fertile ground for debate and further investigation, a mystery that, despite modern scholarship, still invites questions about leadership, legitimacy, and the cost of civil strife. Exploring the broader impacts of his demise can reveal much about the social, economic, and cultural transformations of late medieval England. You might consider delving into the lasting legacy of the Wars of the Roses on subsequent English governance or examining how the mythologized image of Henry VI influenced later political thought during the Tudor period. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and please subscribe as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.